Hello, hello. Welcome to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. I'm your host, Karen Yankovich, and today I am coming in Jersey style with some real talk. If you are still ghosting LinkedIn, then consider this episode your wake-up call. I'm talking to smart, savvy women who have spent decades climbing ladders, building credibility. Maybe your magic in boardrooms or classrooms or Zoom rooms, right? But when it comes to putting that brilliance online, it doesn't translate as easily, right? It doesn't translate well. And I get that. I know, I'm talking about LinkedIn here today, right? And I know that LinkedIn can feel a little bit like that boring old conference room of the internet. But what if I told you that it's the opposite, right? What if I said, let's shift the way we look at LinkedIn from the boring old conference room of the internet to the VIP penthouse of the internet, because that's where we build influence and credibility and cash flow, right? Because here's the truth. LinkedIn drives 80% of all B2B leads from social media. 80%. That's not my opinion. That's from LinkedIn marketing themselves, right? And those leads, they're not looking for discounts, right? They're looking for experts. So I just repeat that 80% of all B2B leads from social media are coming from LinkedIn. Are you spending, I'm not even asking you to spend 80% of your marketing time on LinkedIn. Just give us a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of time. You got to shift how you're focusing. The market has shifted. I know you've seen this, right? So we need to shift to what's happening. What's happening now is people are buying based on relationships. So I'm going to give you 10 no excuse reasons to stop ignoring LinkedIn and how to use it to build a high ticket engine for your high impact business that you love. I know that you're here to make the world a better place, right? Whatever that piece of the world is for you. I want you to do that from a wealthy woman perspective. So here we go. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about, number one, it is your digital first impression, right? When people throw your name in a Google search, what's going to come up often is your LinkedIn profile. So you need to make sure that you make a good digital first impression. Throw your name in pause this right now. Throw your name in a Google search, see what comes up. Do you look worthy of people's money, right? I'm not even talking about coming up like 10 pages, right? Of first 10 pages of Google. I'm talking about the first couple of things they see, and LinkedIn's going to be there. So before anyone hires you, before anyone interviews you, before they invite you to be a guest on their podcast or asks you for a quote in Forbes, right? They're going to Google you. And so often LinkedIn comes up first. It sometimes comes up for my website, that's another topic, right? But let's not make it a ghost town. Let's not have dust bunnies running around it, right? Let's make it magnetic and glowing and sparkly and, resume meets brand meets magnetic trust builder, right? Like if your profile doesn't reflect where you're going, right? Like you've heard the expression dress for the job you want. Well, your LinkedIn profile should be positioning you for the person you're stepping into. And if it's just written like a resume, it's all about old you. It's about the person you used to be, right? Nobody cares about that. They care about what you're stepping into, what you can do for them, right? So think about your dream offers. Think about the media that you want. So you want your brand to be media ready. Think about your next level, that next era that you're stepping into, and know that if this has to be done one time, right? And if you are skipping this piece, 100% you're leaving money on the table. I've used the example before, maybe you've heard it. Let's say you're buying a car, right? And you're car shopping and you go to three different LinkedIn dealers, 3 different Ford dealers or whatever kind of car you're buying, right? And they're all good. You talk to 3 different salespeople and they all give you their card. And if you're like me, before I do anything, buy a pen or whatever, I Google to find out about it. So maybe you throw the name of the salesperson in Google to see what you can find out about them. And one of them has a LinkedIn profile that positions them properly, that tells about awards they've won, tells how long they've been doing this job. Honestly, even if they've been doing the job for a half an hour, if they build a background leading up to that of why they're qualified for this job, they're telling me, here's why I'm the right choice for you, right? They might not be the best car salesman. I might not be getting the best deal, but they're making me feel comfortable investing with them. And that's what your profile should be doing for you. All right. So that's number one. Number one is it's your digital first impression. Don't blow it. Don't blow that digital first impression. Number 2, LinkedIn is where referrals happen every day. If I ask 10 people where they get their biggest clients from, 9 of them are going to tell me it from a referral, right? So how do we get more referrals? We talk to more people, right? I'm not talking about 100 people a day or even a week or even a month. I'm talking about having an engine, your LinkedIn engine. We talked about the LinkedIn loop in a previous episode that we'll link here. You want to have a process that has you talking to new people every day. And so many people I talk to think they need to go to endless networking events to get clients. But LinkedIn is one giant ongoing referral fest, right? And if you've been to networking events, okay, I know I've done this, so I don't hopefully don't do it anymore, but you go to the networking event, you talk to people, it's a little awkward. Some people come up to you, that's really awkward. Other people, you have enjoyable conversations. You go home with a stack of business cards, and what do you do with those cards? They sit on your desk, and eventually you look at them in a month and you're like, oh, what am I doing with these cards, right? That's that LinkedIn loop I was talking about in that previous episode. You don't go to you don't take it to the end. You just go to another networking event because you didn't have time to follow up with those people. Did you hear that? You're going to too many networking events and you're not following up with the people at the first one, right? So you're not actually deepening those relationships. Go to less things and deepen the things you do. It's first of all, doesn't that sound better than running around to a million networking events? But also you get to actually get to know people, they get to know you, and that's where the referral happens. Your old boss knows somebody. Your neighbor's cousin is hiring a consultant, right? The women from the that you met at the PTA is on a nonprofit board. Connect with them on LinkedIn. If you've done number one, they're going to say, let's just go use the PTA as an example. Maybe they just know you're a consultant or a coach. They don't really know what you do. But if they come to your LinkedIn, if you connect with them on LinkedIn and they see that you do stand out from your crowd, right? And you've got recommendations on LinkedIn and you really have a profile that positions you client facing. So I know exactly the kinds of results that to expect if I work with you. They're going to say, wow, I had no idea she was such a big deal. I want to get to know her better, right? But they're not going to refer to you and they won't think about referring people to you if you're silent or if you're invisible, right? So this visibility leads to opportunity, period, right? So understand that this is one big referral party, okay? Not a pitch fest. I know you think it's a pitch fest because so many people use it like a pitch fest and they're bombing and they're driving us all crazy. Forget that. Forget that. Make it a referral fest for you. Make it a referral fest for you. Okay, number 3. The third reason you need to stop forgetting about LinkedIn is that buyers are already in a business mindset when they're on LinkedIn. Yeah, maybe they see a TikTok video of you or they see an Instagram post that you've done, but they're not on Instagram in that same business mindset that they're in when they're on LinkedIn. When people log into LinkedIn, they're thinking about business, right? Not their ex-boyfriend's vacation, not cat videos. They're ready to talk about money. They're ready to talk about partnerships. They're ready to talk about business and solving problems, right? So you can't market your high ticket programs on Instagram like you're selling cupcakes. Okay. If you want premium clients, you need to show up in premium spaces with a premium brand so you look like you're worthy of that premium investment, right? And the buyers on LinkedIn are in that business mindset. Okay. All right. Number 4. One of my favorite things about LinkedIn, you do not need to go viral to get paid, right? Quality over quantity. You don't need 10,000 LinkedIn connections. I mean, full disclosure, I have a ton, but I teach this for a living. So I get a lot of people connect with me at conferences that I speak at and things like that. But you don't need that. You don't need that. You need 10 of the right people to see your brilliance. I teach in our She's Linked Up program, we teach micro targeting, not spamming your network, throwing as much spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, but micro targeting. One post, one DM. That's all it takes, right? Visibility is not about popularity. It's about positioning. Right. And so you got to stop waiting for that viral moment. Write the post that lands you the next 25K client. And guess what? It might not even be a post that you had to write. You might just jump into a conversation. And then again, this is that LinkedIn loop. You jumped into a conversation. Somebody that didn't know you before now sees your name, checks out your LinkedIn profile. You look worthy. They're like impressed with your LinkedIn profile. They're interested in what you do. They, that you've made it really easy for them to get on your calendar or whatever it is that you want them to do next. They do that next thing and they become a client, right? So it doesn't have to be a viral moment. It's just a moment. Okay. One person, one moment can land you that next 25K client. All right. Number 5 reason that you need to stop forgetting and ignoring LinkedIn is it is a built-in PR pitch engine. Let's talk media here for a second. Journalists are on LinkedIn every day and they're all looking for experts to quote, right? All of them. And in this crazy world we're living in where opinions and there's such polarization, right? There's such polarization. Not only are the journalists looking for experts to quote, they really need to know that the experts that they're quoting are the real deal. Okay. And align with their own values, right? They want to know that they're going to check your profile. They're going to read your posts. They're going to look at your about section, right? Your LinkedIn profile literally does your PR pitching for you if you set it up right? Make sure your headline speaks to the problem you solve. Use your about section to blend story and credibility, right? Share that you've been featured in the media before. Share thought leadership posts consistently so the media not only sees your voice in action, but they understand your point of view and they can decide if your point of view aligns with what they're looking to put out there in their stories, and they can then reach out to you. If you're doing this consistently, LinkedIn is a massive search engine, right? So when they're looking for this stuff, your stuff's going to come up if you're talking about these things consistently. Right. So this is the magnetic stuff that I teach. I don't want you out there pitching. I want people coming to you. And LinkedIn is that built-in PR pitch magnetic engine. All right. Number 6, long form thought leadership is welcome here on LinkedIn. Yes, it's welcome. Hopefully you've got a newsletter, right? Write articles, post mini essays, launch your newsletter. All of this shows up in Google search. Who is reading all of that on an Instagram post, right? Or on TikTok? First, certainly you can't even see it on TikTok, right? This is it's maybe the only platform. Well, that's not really true because there's things like Substack and things like that. But this is one of the few like multi-use platforms, we'll call it that you can go deep, right? So, what are you doing? Do you do videos? Do you do a weekly podcast? Do you do a weekly video? You'll notice if you go to my LinkedIn profile and you follow and you connect with my newsletter and you subscribe to my newsletter, that my podcasts are repurposed into LinkedIn articles. I am already creating this content, right? I don't need to create new content for all that, but I can create another version of this that I can make into a LinkedIn article, and content marketing magic, right? So your long form thought leadership. So think about this, right? So I'm recording this podcast episode. It's going to all the podcast places, right? So we're not even really talking about that right now. It's also going to my website, and then we have show notes in the website, and then I also have a transcription of this on my website because I want to feed the Google beast, right? I want to feed the Google beast. And then, of course, I'm going to promote this on some other platforms. And for me, that's mostly about brand awareness, less about thinking I'm going to get a client from there. But I do know that I do get clients for people that listen to my podcast. So if I can get some more brand awareness on LinkedIn for my podcast, get some more podcast listeners, that's one of the ways that we draw business into our business, right? So that's happening. So now I'm feeding the Google beast there, but all these other places, they're Google's seeing it, but there's not really any long form content anywhere except on LinkedIn. If I create a LinkedIn article, right, I'm actually, and it's different. I make it sure that it's different. I don't have the same thing on my website that I have in my LinkedIn newsletter. I'm feeding the Google beast twice with the same piece of content, right? And guess what? I mean, hopefully you can tell that this is not ever scripted, these podcast episodes. But once it's done, right? Once I finish this recording, I throw it into a transcription service, and I now have a transcription of this episode, which is all in my words. I can feed that into something like ChatGPT and say, okay, give me show notes in my voice. Give me a LinkedIn newsletter in my voice. You've already done the content. I've already recorded the episode. So getting a little help from ChatGPT is just taking my voice and making it easy for me to kind of get it in these places, right? If you're not doing this, it's basically a free way to double down on your content marketing. All right. Number 7, and this is one of my favorites. Your existing LinkedIn network is gold. It's gold. There is so much gold and magic in your existing network. And I'm going to tell you, almost everybody that I talk to, certainly my clients, when I have like conversations with them, I'm like, let's look at your network. They're like, oh, my network, I haven't connected to anybody with a while. It's all people I used to work with, my neighbors, my family. Like none of these people are clients. And then I'm like, yeah, we're going to look anyway. Right. So I'm forced them to look anyway. And they start going through it and they're like, oh, I didn't know Sally got a new job. Well, last time I talked to her, she worked here. Now she works there. That's really interesting. Right. So now you have micro targeting, an opportunity to outreach to Sally and say, hey, wow, congratulations. I see we haven't talked in a while. Last we talked, you were working at ABC company. Now you're at XYZ company. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, about your move there, right? Just something like that, just genuine curiosity. But if Sally, and you want to do this obviously to people that could potentially be potential leads for you or know people that know people, right? We're not really looking for direct pitching to Sally, right? It gives you an opportunity to get on the call with Sally to have a conversation. And then genuinely you can say, well, I might be able to help you by doing this. And hopefully Sally's going to say, you know what? I have two people I want to introduce you to, right? And it's all done. You're not connecting with new people and you're not spamming, right? You're just digging into the people you already know. I'm telling you, there's never been a time this hasn't happened when I work with people on this. You are already connected to dozens, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of people who can help you land your next opportunity. Remember that referral fest we talked about, right? But if your profile doesn't clearly say what you do now, how will they know? So make sure it's updated, your banner, your headline, and then reintroduce yourself to people, right? You could say something like, maybe if you have, like many of the people that listen to the show, if you're looking at your next chapter, the next era in your life, being your empowerment era, and you really want it to be bigger, talk about that. Say things like, after 20 years in corporate leadership, I now help women, transition into high ticket consulting with ease and impact, right? If you or somebody is ready for that next chapter, let's connect, right? So that's on your about section or your headline, right? It's simple, it's effective, it's memorable. And when you dive into your existing network and then just message a couple people each week, this is where your business is going to come from. This is the low-hanging fruit that everybody talks about all over the place and nobody is picking. Okay. I want you to pick that low-hanging fruit. Don't overlook your existing network. All right. Number 8, speaking gigs and board seats. Love LinkedIn, right? Event planners, board recruiters, they are 100% checking LinkedIn to vet speakers and candidates, right? I can tell you, I have a client that hired me a year or so ago, and she said to me, Karen, I've been following you for years. I've been wanting to work with you, but I just keep putting it off. I keep putting it off, keep putting it off. And I really wanted to get this deal. And I was talking to them for a while and I didn't get the deal. But I saw they looked at my LinkedIn profile. And I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking this, but what if I had started working with you, would I have gotten this 25K deal? I'm not waiting another minute to do this. Let's get this done, right? It's not the only time I've had this conversation with people. So when they check you out, when board recruiters and event planners and, people that run conferences check you out to vet speakers and candidates, they're looking for that thought leadership content. They're looking for that clear positioning. They're looking for media features or past stages so that they know you're legit. You've got to tell them, right? So if part of your dream for your next chapter, your next era, your empowerment era is speaking on more stages, make LinkedIn your personal speaker one sheet. Add your existing speaker one sheet there, right? But let's make LinkedIn let's start with there so that it feeds to that other stuff. That makes sense? Don't overlook this. Don't overlook this. All right, number nine, high net worth people actually use it. This is so important. LinkedIn users have the highest average income of any social platform. I'm going to say that one again. LinkedIn users have the highest average income of any social platform. That's right, they're decision makers. They have budgets and they respect professional clarity. So if you're selling premium services or looking for 10K, 25K, 100K contracts, this is where your buyers are scrolling. This is where they are. You have to let them know that you are worthy of their investment. Okay. So the high net worth people are actually using this. You need to be there. You need to be looking like you are peers with them. Okay. As you're creating this is such an important thing. And number 10, one of my favorites again, is LinkedIn is a 24/7 lead machine. Okay. On my on my phone, I do not have notifications set up for any social media except LinkedIn. Because I know that people aren't on LinkedIn all the time, right? And if I get a message from LinkedIn at like 3 o'clock, or maybe I'm like after I record this, I'm going to be getting in my car for 3 hours, right? Maybe I'll get a message. Maybe I'll get a notification that somebody. I'm not driving, so if I get a notification that somebody sent me a message on LinkedIn, and I get the notification on my phone, I can quickly respond back because I know they're there because they just messaged me, right? So this 24/7 lead machine is not like Zoom calls. It's not like coffee dates, right? Your LinkedIn profile works while you sleep. It's magnetic. People are searching for things. You want to come up in those search results. It's going to be generating leads at 3 a.m. It's going to be landing podcast invites while you're sitting on the beach, right? It's going to be building trust with you even before people meet you, but only if you set this up with intention, right? That's why I really don't even look at LinkedIn as a social media platform. It's not really just a platform. It's your publicist. It's your lead magnet. It's your brand strategist all rolled into one. Okay. But you have to have this set up right. So let's just recap for a second here. LinkedIn builds instant trust. It's referral rich. It works when you're not. It gets you in front of people with actual budgets, and it positions you for credibility, clients, and media. And the best part, you don't have to dance. You don't have to follow trends. You don't have to look for like what the trending music is and use it just in case that might bring it in front of somebody. I don't really even get any of that. And again, one of the other best parts, you don't have to post 10 times a day to get these wins. You don't even have to post every day. You can post like one every other day if you wanted, right? You want to post consistently. You want to be in that feed, but you don't have to post every day. A couple times a week is fine. Okay, so I want you to think about this for a second here, okay? I have a little reflection prompt for you here, okay? I want you to think about, so here's the prompt. Maybe you want to write this down. What is one belief you've had about LinkedIn that has kept you from fully showing up? And what's the one next powerful action you're going to take to change that? All right, write that down, or better yet, post it on LinkedIn. Let me know what that action is. Tag me. Let me cheer you on because I promise you, I want to cheer you on. Right. And this is how we get in front of each other's audiences. If you post that and you maybe drop a link to this episode and say why you're doing that, I certainly appreciate that because it gets remember that big giant referral party, right? That gets my name in front of your network. But if I then jump in or copy it in front of my network, right, or jump into that conversation, my network starts to see it. So I'm getting your name in front of my network, right? And we're doing it in this warm, celebratory, lifting each other up, feminine, beautiful way, right? So I am going to repeat this reflection prompt, and I want you to share this episode on LinkedIn. Respond with what your one next powerful action was going to be, and tag me so that we can get in front of each other's audiences. Ready? What is one belief you've had about LinkedIn that's kept you from showing up fully, and what's the next powerful action you're going to take to change that? All right, I want to see it on LinkedIn. So listen, I have so many ways that I can help you with this. If you want to take the next step, I suggest maybe you grab my free Ultimate LinkedIn for PR checklist. You can get that at linkedinforpr.com. And we'll link all of this in all the show notes here as well, because that's going to walk you through how to position your profile for credibility, connection, and conversation and conversion. Right. So do that for sure. But also I would love to get a DM from you on LinkedIn. If we're not connected, please connect with me. Send me a LinkedIn message. My LinkedIn inbox, 100% the most valuable piece of real estate in my business. One, without a doubt. Okay. So I ignore all the spammy bull crap and I just focus on getting DMs from people like you. Right. Just say LinkedIn ready and we'll chat and I'll see if there's something I can do to support you. Okay. I hope this inspired you to use LinkedIn more. I want to send you so much love. I want you to stop playing small. LinkedIn is ready for you. I just need you to be ready for it. The world needs more wealthy women, and this is how it happens, right? The world is waiting for you to say yes to your brilliance. I am waiting for you to say yes to your brilliance, and I am here, Jersey style, to shove you a little bit if you need that little tap or book loving push, right? To take these next steps so that you can be landing the big, fat, juicy contracts. All right. I will see you next week on the Good Girls Get Rich podcast.